Hey everybody, it's Sarah. Today what I'm going to be doing is walking you through a tutorial on how I do soft shading with my artwork here. I have already done the line art, as you can see, so the first thing that I do is obviously fill it in. Everyone has different techniques on how to fill in sections of work. What I do is I use the bucket tool with the line art on selection source. Then I go through and fill in all the holes, make sure everything is completely filled. Of course I do miss a few, as you'll see in a little bit. You'll notice that I go back and fill them back in again. But that's the next thing you do. Next you're going to want to create a new layer and make it as a clipping group. Then you're going to go in with a darker color. Usually if it's a neutral color like this, like her gray colored hair, you're going to want to stick to gray but kind of give it some color. Like as you see in my color palette in the corner there, I do have a little bit more on the purple side. That way you give it some color so it's not all completely flat neutral colors. Then I go in and basically what you do first is shade it like you're doing cell shading instead of soft shading. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm using the brush tool. Have to try your best to go with the natural flow of the hair. Sometimes it can be a little bit awkward depending on your line art and your style. As you can see up there with her bangs, I'm having a little bit of trouble on the top of her head, but you just have to do your best to go with the natural flow. Then when that's done, what you have to do is over in the corner there, right underneath where you swap colors, there's a little button there that you click, and it's called the exchange normal or transparent color, and you have to have that selected. Then you go through the hair and you start to blend it. It can take some time. You just have to blend it out the best you can. I usually use a very light hand when I'm doing this. I do not press down very hard. I'm very light with it because if you press down too hard, then typically what it does is it gets rid of the color completely, like an eraser, instead of blending it out. So you just have to have a very light hand when you're doing this and be very gentle with it. Then when you're done with that, you make another, basically what you do is you take that layer and you duplicate it, and then you put that layer on multiply. And then what that does is it basically, you have your first layer of shading and it just makes it darker over that first layer, and it creates that second depth, the second layer of darkness. And then all I typically do is go through and just kind of erase a little bit of it with the brush tool still on that transparent color button pressed down there, and that gets rid of some of the color. And then you're only going to take the way I do highlights is I take the water, or I make another layer underneath the other two, and I use the water tool to kind of go through and make a light gradient. And then I make another layer above the other three, and I take a white or a very pale color, usually with some color in it, but this time I use pure white. And use the brush tool and you just make some quick little squiggles where you want the highlights to be. And then still with the brush tool, you go through and the best way that I found to blend out this color is you start in the middle and blend outwards. Instead of pulling the color in, you pull it out, and that creates kind of this little shine in the middle of it there. And that's it. I hope you enjoyed. Please like or subscribe to see more. And if you like or favorite the video, then I'll know that you enjoyed it and that you want to see more. Thank you so much for watching.